This Sunday, in our worship service, we'll begin a sermon series on the book of Acts, and we'll be seeking to answer the question, who are we? Who are we as a church, and how do we take from the book of Acts who we ought to be as a church? And so we'll be highlighting this question in our devotional videos and taking a deeper look into the book of Acts on our Wednesday night Bible study. And for several weeks on Sunday morning, we'll be using the book of Acts to answer that question. Who are we? And so Acts chapter 1 verse 8 is maybe a good jumping off point for looking at this question. This one verse provides a good summary of the whole book of Acts, really. And it gives us some detail again about who we are as Christians and a church. And so Acts chapter 1 verse 8 says, this is Jesus addressing the disciples, "But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come on you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth." And so in this verse we see that, number one, we are empowered by the Holy Spirit. For everyone who chooses to follow Jesus, they then have the Holy Spirit living inside of them. And so one thing that means is that we ought to dare to do great things for the Lord. When we take a bird's eye view of the book of Acts and we see it as a whole, we see Christ's followers over and over again doing great and wonderful things for the Lord, empowered by the Holy Spirit. And so we should lean into that. We should trust that God's Spirit, His own Spirit, will empower us to do things that on our own we'd never be able to hope to accomplish. And as a church, we should recognize that we as a church are empowered by the Holy Spirit, and so we can do great things for the Lord together because He empowers us to do so. But then also we see that not only are we empowered, which is exciting, but we also have a mission. We have a job to do. Jesus tells the disciples that under the umbrella of them being empowered by the Holy Spirit, they are to be His witnesses in the world. So not just to see this as, compartmentalizing and say, well, I'll be a witness in this area, but not this area. Often we think, well, I'm not a missionary, and so there's a whole section of being a witness to Jesus that I'm not a part of. Really, we should just see this as a lifestyle. We are to live a lifestyle of being Jesus' witnesses. And there should be elements of all the areas of the world, our local communities, our state, our country, and even our world. But we are to be the witnesses of Jesus in this world that we find ourselves in. That's who we are as Christians. That's who we are as a church. And so again, this is the theme of the book of Acts, that over and over again, Christians are empowered by the Holy Spirit to be Jesus' witnesses in the world. And may that be the theme of our lives. Have a blessed day.